We love you, and we miss you, and we will never stop looking for you.
Day 2 of a renewed search for clues in the Holly Bobo disappearance.
This is the story of one town.
This is the kind of thing that you always think about happens to those other people somewhere else.
This is the story of one family.
Holly, I love you so much. Please try to get home to us.
And this is the story of one girl and the day she never came home.
Now with breaking news, this is News Channel 5 at 5.
There is a major development tonight in the Holly Bobo case. You are looking at a live picture from Sky 5, where the TBI has spent the day searching a piece of land in Decatur County.
The TBI crews are still on the scene of a property off Highway 69 on property right behind me here where you see that TBI truck in the distance. We're told this property belongs to a Zachary Adams and his grandfather John Adams.
After a cadaver dog went over the area, we noticed that investigators began driving probes down into the ground. You can see it right there. They were trying to see if they might hit up on anything solid. A short time later, they got down on their hands and knees, digging up one bucket of dirt at a time. Then they took those buckets over to a sifter. Now, this is classic CSI stuff.
Now with breaking news, this is News Channel 5 at 4.
We start with breaking news out of Decatur County, where a grand jury has just issued a sealed indictment within the past hour, meaning charges have been filed in the disappearance case of Holly Bobo. But as of now, we do not know the name or the person or persons charged. We are expecting to know more from a press conference about to get underway at the Decatur County Sheriff's Office, and News Channel 5's Chris Conti is there live with more. Chris.
And Vicki, this has been an incredibly fluid situation since Friday, when you'll remember authorities started searching the property of Zachary Adams, which is about 20 miles from where we are now at the Decatur County Detention Center.
The Decatur County Grand Jury handed down indictment of especially aggravated kidnapping and first-degree felony murder on Zachary Rye Adams.
Stunning developments in the Holly Bobo case. Nearly 3 years after her disappearance, an indictment.
We have live team coverage both in the field and here in our studio. We begin with News Channel 5's Chris Conti. Chris.
And Vicki, you have to imagine that this was the day Holly Bobo's family has been waiting for, but certainly has not wanted. Until this afternoon, when a grand jury officially indicted Zachary Adams, he wasn't officially named a suspect in Holly's disappearance. The press conference here lasted about 15 minutes, but you have to guess that there were only a few seconds that the Bobo family will truly remember.
Keep an eye on the person beside you, okay?
2.5 years, thousands of volunteers, and it all came down to this.
Thank you all for being here.
Inside a crowded room at the Decatur County Detention Center, the news broke both family and friends.
The Decatur County Grand Jury handed down indictment of especially aggravated kidnapping and first-degree felony murder on Zachary Rye Adams.
For days, investigators have been sifting through dirt, scouring through brush, looking for any link between Zachary Adams' property in Holiday and the disappearance of Holly Bobo.
We are still asking for the public's help and support to help us continue to seek out justice regarding the disappearance of Holly Bobo.
Officials would not say what they found over the last 6 days, no indication as to if it was Holly's body, but there was something concrete enough there to lead a grand jury to indict Zach Adams on first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping this afternoon.
I'm thankful and appreciative for our volunteers in our county that has searched so hard.
April 13th will mark the 3rd year since the blonde-haired, blue-eyed nursing student went missing. Flyers, posters, searches, hope that she might still be alive, gone in a 15-minute press conference.
News Channel 5's Emily Luxon is live in Decatur County tonight with some of that reaction.
Well, yeah, certainly a very emotional afternoon. As you said, as you mentioned, a lot of people shrieked, some even screamed when that indictment was announced. A lot of tears and a lot of hugs here this afternoon. People were gathering here well before the press conference. A lot of friends of the Bobo family just waiting to get the latest news on where the story stands now. Keep in mind, a lot of these people have helped with some of the countless searches for Holly Bobo over the years. And many people told me it is devastating to know that Holly is no longer alive after they had been holding out hope for so long.
it's just a big shock. I mean, everybody was holding out hope that she was still alive, you know, and she's gone. It's not the way we expected it to end. I'm in shock, just like everybody else. I'm in deep shock for Karen and Dana, and my prayers are out for the family. I don't know how they're coping right now.
We did not see Holly Bobo's parents here tonight. Friends say their work is not done. They will continue to support and pray for this family as this investigation continues.
Oh, it's sad. 20-year-old Holly Bobo vanished from her Decatur County home on April 13th, 2011. Never to be seen again.
I just want her back.
Thank you. The only lead? Her brother Clint told police he saw a man in camouflage take his sister into the woods behind their parents' home in Darden. If that is indeed what happened, the man in camouflage had a quick plan of escape. Before authorities could react, he and Holly had disappeared. Her parents were desperate.
To whoever has our daughter, I'm asking you to please do the right thing and let her come home.
I would tell her I love her. I want her to call us, please, in any way she can get in touch with us whatsoever. Text, anything, to try to get in touch with us for where they can pinpoint us a way to go to get her.
A plea for help from Holly never came, and the trail went cold. In the weeks, months, and even years since, there have been endless organized searches.
We're all determined.
Of the rural area by volunteers and police.
We're still running down tips, chasing leads. We're doing anything, that we can.
Even a team of paragliders donated their time to search for clues from the air, but they found nothing.
Very, very frustrating. And, we've not had anything like this to happen in our county, and it personally touches me. And I want to find this young lady. I want to bring her home.
Breaking news coming out of the Holly Bobo case. Within the last hour, the TBI has arrested a second suspect in the case. News Channel 5's Chris Conti is following this in Decaturville for us tonight. Chris?
And Rory, when we stood here in March and told you that Zachary Adams was being indicted on the kidnapping and murder charges that related to Holly Bobo's disappearance, we also told you that the TBI very emphatically was saying that more charges were expected in this case, and that is exactly what happened today. Around 1 o'clock this afternoon, a special grand jury met here in Decatur County and charged 39-year-old Jason Autry with aggravated kidnapping and murder charges in the disappearance of Holly Bobo. She has been gone now for over 3 years, and today we learned from officials that they still have not found her body.
For the first time since arrests were made in her daughter's murder, Holly Bobo's mom spoke out today. Chris Conti is live in Decaturville, where one of Holly's accused killers was in court. Chris?
And Rory, Karen Bobo told us today that she wants one thing in this case: justice for her daughter. Today, both sides of this case made sure that their voices were heard loud and clear. It was outside of court where today's most memorable moments came.
Not to forget what this is all about, and that is justice for my daughter, who was taken from our home on April 13, 2011.
Silent since authorities renewed their search for her daughter in February. Karen Bobo could be silent no more.
Please don't forget what this is all about, and that is justice for Holly.
Inside of court, one of her daughter's accused killers, Jason Autry, appeared once again, his hands and feet bound by metal chains.
I would urge you to maintain your constitutional right to silence.
Had issued today a gag order the state filed last night to keep anyone involved from speaking to the media. The judge, though, denied that request.
But I don't think it's appropriate for people to attempt to try their cases in the media.
Autry's lawyers also asked they be allowed better access to him.
We just want to meet with him from face to face.
I'm asking people not to get sidetracked by the lawyers' circus and sideshow. That's not what it's about.
Well, if it's a circus sideshow, it's not a circus we invited to town. It was a circus sideshow before we ever appeared.
As he left, Jason Autry made mention to a piece of paper he tried to hand to reporters on his way into court.
It was intended for Channel 5 News.
Seeing them in shackles, I guess, makes me feel a little bit better.
Moments Holly's family would rather forget as they try to keep her memory alive.
Our presence is for Holly, Our voice is for Holly, and my daughter deserves that, and we'll be here all the way.
Break in the Holly Bobo case. This is Sky 5 video from earlier today in Decatur County, where officials spent the day searching a heavily wooded area after hunters there found human remains. But at this point, it's too early to tell if this is or isn't Holly Bobo. Now, those remains were found by two men out searching the woods for the herb ginseng just around 10 o'clock this morning. Multiple law enforcement agencies were on the scene investigating today. Now, to give you some perspective, this is Adams Lane, where officials renewed their search for Holly earlier this year. The area where that skull was found is about 6 miles west. The nursing student has been missing since April of 2011, but her body has never been found. Chris Conti has the latest from Decatur County.
This is the area where officials were focusing the entirety of their attention today. It is a remote wooded area just off I-40 and Holiday. And although things are quieter out here tonight, it was a much busier scene earlier today as searchers were looking for any evidence that might help them determine who this is.
This is News Channel 5 at 10.
Breaking news tonight. New information is expected to be released in just a few moments about a human skull found in Decatur County. Good evening, everyone. 3.5 years ago, nursing student Holly Bobo went missing in Decatur County, but tonight we still don't know if the human remains found this past weekend belong to her. Here's what we do know. Holly Bobo disappeared April 13th of 2011. The 20-year-old nursing student disappeared from her home. Her brother, Clint, was the last person to see her alive. And since then, over this past several years, thousands of volunteers have spent countless hours searching for her. Now, we have live team coverage of this breaking news story, and we're going to begin in Decatur County as authorities are preparing to address the media. Now, here's what we're told at this news conference tonight. The director of the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Mark Gwynn, will speak first, followed by the district attorney of the 24th Judicial District, Matt Stowe. Let's go to the podium now.
Good evening. First, I would like to extend my condolences to the family and friends of Holly Bobo. In light of the recent discovery of possible human remains in Decatur County, TBI has been able to confirm through the findings of an odontologist that the remains are of Holly Bobo. TBI agents and the Decatur County Sheriff's Department have continued to work tirelessly over 3 years to thoroughly follow leads and bring those responsible to justice. It was my prayer, as well as the prayers of many others, that Holly Bobo would be found. I assure you all, this is not over by any means. The investigation is still ongoing to get to the truth.
There is a picture of the murder suspect, 29-year-old Zach Adams. The other is Adams' friend, 39-year-old Jason Wayne Autry. All right, we want to go back out now to Decatur County, where I understand the Decatur County Sheriff, Keith Bird, is speaking with reporters right now about tonight's development. This is a man who has only been on the job for just more than a week.
More than anything, I wanted to bring closure to the family. I wasn't interested in anything else. I wanted to see them get some closure, and now I want to see the perpetrators get justice.
This is News Channel 5 at 6.
The time for talking is drawing to a close, and the time for action is coming fast upon us.
Promises of justice for the Bobo family, thanks in part to a key new piece of crucial evidence, Holly Bobo's skull. Today, investigators were back out scouring the scene as her family grieves their loss.
Tonight, we have live team coverage of this developing story, and we begin with News Channel 5's Nick Barris. He has exclusive details on what the skull discovery means to this case against two men accused of killing Holly Bobo. Nick?
Well, Rory, I'll tell you, that evidence is physical proof that Holly Bobo is now dead. The discovery of her skull, it is a crucial piece of evidence, but defense attorneys tell me today they're not concerned.
Holly
Holly Bobo's skull was found in this heavily wooded area just off I-40 in Decatur County. This comes more than 3 years after she disappeared. Now Zach Adams and Jason Autry are charged with her murder, and the case against them is growing.
It will be some time before we know the full extent of everything that we've got.
But at this news conference with the Bobo family this morning, new District Attorney Matt Stowe made it clear the skull is a big deal for the prosecution.
I came into office 9 days ago prepared to try a murder case with no body. I now have a body, so it's going to be much easier.
Well, for the prosecution, they would be able to show the first prong of a murder charge, and that is that someone's actually died.
News Channel 5 legal analyst Nick Leonardo says that's key when you're prosecuting two men for murder, especially when up until now, most of the evidence was thought to be circumstantial.
It's a much bigger deal for the prosecution than it is for the defense.
So what about the defendants? Will Bobo's physical remains implicate them? Fletcher Long is Jason Autry's attorney.
We don't know who's responsible for her death.
Long says the new evidence does not change his defense strategy, and he cautions those who rush to judgment, saying the discovery of a skull does not necessarily mean that Jason Autry killed Holly Bobo.
But they still have to prove that it was we. And that's the part, the nexus between us and the demise of anyone is what has to be established. It's not something that we have to prove or disprove. It's something the government has got to prove. And thus far, we haven't seen anything that would link Mr. Autry to any bad actions in relation to Miss Bobo, or that he took any actions, good or bad, relative to Miss Bobo.
And for the first time since Holly's remains were found Sunday, her family spoke out today.
This as the search for more evidence intensified. Chris Conti is live in Parsons. Chris, what's the mood there?
Well, Vicki, walking around here today, you get this sense of a profound feeling of loss and heartbreak. Holly's remains were found about 15 miles north of where we are right now at her family's church, and it does give her family and this community a bit of closure. But it also means that the small bit of hope that she might still be alive is now gone.
This is the kind of thing that you always think about happens to those other people somewhere else.
Improbable as it may seem, there is not a person in Decatur County who hasn't in some way been touched by the last 3 years.
Those responsible will be afforded a trial. As an innocent victim, Holly had no such right.
Heartbroken, lost, and too shaken to speak, Holly Bobo's family stood quietly today as their attorney served as their voice.
The family knows that Holly is in a better place, and we're comforted by that knowledge. We hope that no family will have to experience what we have endured.
Even after the indictments, even after the charges, there was still hope in this small town that somehow Holly was still alive.
It's a heavily wooded area.
But with confirmation last night that remains discovered in the woods along I-40 Sunday were hers, this town has hope no more.
I've never seen a stronger family. I've never seen a more dedicated family. I've never seen a family that wouldn't give up. I've never seen a family so full of faith.
Next month, Holly would have turned 24. She likely would almost have her nursing degree from UT Martin.
This is not the end of it, but at least we finally know what's happened to Holly.
3.5 years of hope has now given way to a lifetime of heartache.
One day that they'll see their Holly again.
We spoke to some of the Bobo's close family friends today. They said that they are hoping to establish some kind of scholarship fund in Holly's memory. They're hoping that come spring they will have money to be able to do that. And this was not the only development in this case today. 15 miles north of here where those remains were discovered, there were a number of major developments. That's where my colleague Mark Bellinger is tonight. Mark, we understand that the terrain up there is incredibly rough.
That's right, but first I want to give you the very latest from here. And I just spoke with TBI Director Mark Wynn. He just left, and I asked him, did you find anything? And he said, no, I can't tell you about that, but he did say, Mark, we've had a good day. That may speak volumes. That might mean something later on. Now back to this terrain for a second. This is timber country. There's a sawmill out here, but it's very heavy with vegetation. In fact, a lot of the ground is covered in thick vegetation. This is what the search site looks like from Sky 5 HD. A TBI spokeswoman says more than a dozen agents, including forensic specialists, are combing over the area. A forensic pathology team from UT Knoxville is also here.
The actual scene is about 400 yards off the road.
It's tough terrain. This is what it looks like from the ground. The property is owned by the Tubbs family.
We cut railroad ties, hardwood lumber, and pallet material.
They've operated a sawmill here for nearly 50 years.
It's rough. It's pretty rough terrain. It's a lot of hills and creeks, ditches, all over it down in there.
Stanley Tubbs says they've noticed nothing unusual on the property since Bobo's disappearance more than 3 years ago. He says there have been a half dozen ground searches here since then.
Most of the timber around here has been cut, and it's lots of undergrowth. In the summertime, it'd be pretty tough. In the wintertime, it's fairly open.
So when hunters searching for ginseng discovered the skull, which turned out to be Bobo, Tubbs says he was surprised. One of the first people to see the remains was Sheriff Keith Bird, who remembers seeing Holly Bobo and her mother just 6 months before the nursing student disappeared.
It was real strange for me to stand there and think that might be her. And it's still kind of a funny feeling.
Here at the crime scene, the search for more evidence, more remains is over for the day. The TBI says they will be back tomorrow morning. Reporting live from Decatur County, Mark Bellinger, News Channel 5 HD.
And be sure to stay with News Channel 5 for the very latest developments in the Holly Bobo case. You can get the latest updates both on air and online at newschannel5.com.
He is accused of kidnapping and murdering Holly Bobo.
Jason Autry is one of 2 suspects charged in the high-profile case. Tonight, Autry talks with Nick Barris from Riverbend Maximum Security Prison in a News Channel 5 exclusive. Nick.
Autry is in segregation, away from general population, I'm told for his own safety. But we got to him. The TBI says Autry murdered Holly Bobo. In a wide-ranging interview, we asked him about that and much, much more.
I'm a drug addict and a thief.
Are you a killer? Are you a killer?
No, sir. By no means. I'm not a killer.
Jason Autry talked to us in this exclusive interview on a video uplink from Riverbend Maximum Security Prison.
This caused a lot of sleepless nights, and
He insists he's charged with a crime he did not commit.
innocent man falsely accused.
Autry says he has no idea what happened to Holly Bobo.
Honestly, I don't want to speculate and make a rumor of what happened to the girl.
I would tell her I love her. I want her to call us.
The 20-year-old nursing student disappeared from her family's home in Decatur County in April of 2011.
Y'all are tired. We're frustrated. We ain't brought Holly home yet.
The case made national headlines, but the investigation went nowhere for years.
First-degree felony murder.
Then the TBI suddenly announced the arrest first of 29-year-old Zach Adams this past March, followed by the 39-year-old Autry. Both are charged with kidnapping and murder. Did you kidnap and kill Holly Bobo? Were you part of that?
By no means did I bother that girl.
But investigators say a key witness, thought to be Zach Adams' younger brother Dylan, reported seeing Bobo alive in Zach's home after she disappeared, and that she was there with Zach and Autry.
I can't figure out why I've been done like this.
Autry says no way that Dylan Adams, who is currently in jail on gun charges, is not telling the truth.
First of all, he's lying to get out of trouble. He's down there, he's waited all this time, you know. He ain't seen that. He's got himself in a little trouble, and he's down there in Obion County. He don't want to do his time, and he's making up stuff to get out of it.
Besides that, Autry says Dylan can't stand his brother.
They hate each other's guts, and that's a way to get back at them.
Explain your relationship with Zach Adams.
He come around, me and him smoked, drank a little bit, dozed, hung out together. Zach didn't have a whole lot of friends.
Autry concedes he and Zach had several run-ins with the law over the years, and Autry says while serving time for an arrest in 2012, TBI agents paid him the first of many visits to press him on the Bobo case.
It was trying to be a forced move to get me to bear false witness against Zach Adams.
But Autry says he told them he knew nothing, no link between Adams and Bobo. If he did, Autry insists he would have taken the TBI up on their offer of reduced jail time and the reward money.
I mean, I would trade 5 years and $280,000 for my freedom.
Years of praying, countless days of searching, and the heartbreak of false hope. Holly Bobo's disappearance went from a small town mystery to major headlines.
Safe return of Holly Bobo.
Since day one, News Channel 5 has been there.
First-degree felony murder on Zachary Rye Adams.
News Channel 5, your most trusted source for breaking news in the Holly Bobo case then and now.